When my mother got involved with another man, our family fell apart. She left my father and me, and as their only child, I grew up without her guidance. Because of this, I got married early at the age of 18 and had a child. However, my relationship with my partner did not work out, and we eventually separated. Despite everything, my father never abandoned me. Instead, he loved and understood me even more, as well as his grandchild. He never remarried and chose to focus on the two of us. Meanwhile, my mother was never seen again. But one day, everything changed. I cannot explain why or how, but suddenly, I became a victim of my own father. This incident pushed me to despise him. My name is Christine. I am 20 years old and a single parent. I have no job because my father wants me to stay home and take care of my child. He told me not to worry, as he would provide for us. For that, I was deeply grateful to him. One morning, before my father left for work, I reminded him, "Dad, take care and please go straight home after work." "All right, child, you too. Take care here. I'm leaving now." That was our daily routine. I often got bored at home, but we didn't have enough money to go out and have fun. Even so, what mattered was that my father could provide for our needs. One night, he didn't come home right away. It was already 11 in the evening, but he was still not home. It was the first time he was out that late, so I couldn't help but worry. As I waited, I didn't realize that I had fallen asleep. I woke up around 2 in the morning and noticed that my skirt was slightly raised. I felt something wet down there, and it's familiar. I felt a strange sensation in my body, and I couldn't help but remember something I hadn't felt in a long time. As those thoughts lingered in my mind, I suddenly wondered my father. I wondered if he was already home. I quickly got up and went to his room. The door wasn't locked, so I slowly opened it. I saw him sleeping soundly. Before I left, I noticed a slight crease in his boxer shorts. I didn't understand why, but it seemed like something awakened within me. I didn't realize that I had allowed myself to be drowned in that sensation. After everything, I went back to my room and slept again, though there was still unease in my chest. The next morning, I saw my father outside, sipping coffee and reading the newspaper. He had already prepared breakfast for us. "Next time you'll be home late, make sure to text me," he said. "I was worried last night." "I'm sorry, Dad. I got caught up drinking with my coworkers," I replied. After we ate, he told me that he had taken a leave from work so he could take us out for the day. I was overjoyed. We spent the day happily together, my child, father, and me. He bought us new clothes and treated us to delicious food. Out of gratitude, I hugged him tightly. He hugged me back. But then, I felt something strange in the way his hand touched my back and waist. A sudden memory from the previous night flashed in my mind, making me pull away. The months passed quickly. Papa continued to support us, and he never remarried. Meanwhile, I remained alone, untouched, and without any suitors. At times, I found ways to cope with the emptiness. I even bought something online to help ease the loneliness of longing for warmth. One night, my father came home drunk. I greeted him and helped him inside the house. But before I could step away to get him some water, he suddenly pulled me back and I fell onto his lap. Before I could say a word, something happened. I felt it, but I knew it was wrong. I struggled to push him away, but he was too strong. His grip on me tightened. I didn't understand why, but a part of me felt conflicted, as if a strange energy was coursing through my body. But the moment clarity returned, I gathered all my strength and shoved him away. Fear and shock took over me. I ran to my room, slammed the door shut, and held my child close as silent tears fell down my face. The next morning, I heard a knock at the door. I knew it was my father. I had no intention of facing him, but before I could stop it, my child had already opened the door. "Grandson, go ahead and eat in the kitchen. I just need to talk to your mother for a moment." As he stepped closer, I forced myself to stay strong. It was time to face my fear. "Christine, my child, please forgive me for what happened last night. Maybe it was the alcohol. I don't know what came over me. I promise it won't happen again. So please don't be afraid of me. Let's start over just like before." Then, my father gently wiped away my tears and pulled me into a tight embrace. I did nothing. I just let him. I didn't even know what to say. After a while, Papa invited me to have breakfast. I nodded. Then, together, we stepped out of the room. The weeks passed, and everything slowly returned to normal. Little by little, my fear faded. He never showed any signs of ill intentions again. But one day, it was just the two of us at home. My child was at school. It was midday, unbearably hot. I decided to take a shower to cool off. As I walked toward the bathroom, I passed by my father, who was sitting in the living room watching TV. Our eyes met, and in that moment, something surfaced in my memory. I had only a towel wrapped around me. I gave Papa a quick smile before hurrying into the bathroom. Inside, I suddenly felt a strange warmth creeping over me. I let the towel fall from my body, running my hands over my flower down there, damp with sweat. Lost in the moment, I moved too much until a sharp gasp escaped my lips. Then I remembered my father was just outside, so I panicked and then quickly covered my mouth, hoping he hadn't heard me. But it was too late! The door suddenly swung open. I had forgotten to lock it, and there he was, standing in the doorway. Before I could react, he stepped inside. I won't go into detail about what happened next. I'll leave it to your imagination. All I knew was that Papa was surprisingly skilled in tending the land, in plowing the fields. I could barely process what was happening. "Miss May," he murmured, almost making me forget my own name. Moments passed, and I felt the weight of his effort, the patience, the persistence in his work. When it was over, my father looked at me intently, gently taking my hand. "Christine, at last, we are happy now. I've wanted this for so long. That's why I never remarried after your mother left me for another man. I was waiting for you. I wanted to be the one to make you happy when you were old enough. And I'm glad you never married either. I'll take care of you and your child." I stared at him, speechless. I couldn't believe what had just happened. But instead of fear or discomfort, I felt a strange sense of relief, as if a weight had been lifted from my chest. From that day on, Mai was always there, helping me tend the fields, supporting me, and watering it every day. No matter the time, day, or night, whenever I needed him, he was there. The once wilting flowers in my garden now bloomed beautifully, nourished each day without fail. I never resisted. I had come to welcome it. The months passed, yet something began to trouble me. Despite all of Papa's hard work in the fields, the rice never bore grain. Doubt crept into my mind. If I was truly his daughter, would he really have done all of this? The thought haunted me. And then, One day, while my father and I were outside, we were caught off guard. Someone appeared before us, a face I hadn't seen in years. It's my mother. Even after all this time, I still remembered her. I was only 10 years old when she left us, choosing another man over our family. "Christine, is that really you?" she asked, her voice trembling. "You've grown so much. Do you still remember me?" "I'm your mother." I didn't answer. I only stared at her with cold, unyielding eyes. "Christine, go inside," my father said. "Your mother and I need to talk." "No, Dad, I'm staying here. I want to hear it from her. I want to know why she left us, why she chose someone else over our family." "Go ahead, Ma, speak now. Why are you only showing up now? What do you want from us? Why did you come back?" Mama couldn't hold back her tears any longer. She broke down in front of me. "Christine, I want to take you with me to America. Your siblings and I have missed you so much. I only came back now because I can finally give you a better life. Please come with me." I shook my head firmly. "I'm not going with you, Mom. I won't leave my father. And how dare you just come back and try to take me away from him? You left for so long, and now you think you can just take me back like nothing happened? No matter what you say, I won't go with you. Besides, you don't know anything about my life. You didn't even know I had a child, because you were gone." Mama wiped her tears and looked at me with sad eyes. "Christine, he's not your real father. You're my child from another man. He only took you in, but you're not his blood. Come with me, my child, and no matter what, he will never truly be your father, because he can't have children. He's infertile. Come with me. You and your child will have a better life in America." Her words struck me like lightning. I felt my whole world shift. Could it be true? Was Father really incapable of having children? And was he really not my father? I looked at him, searching for the truth in his eyes. "Dad, is it true that you're not my real father?" He sighed, his face heavy with emotion. "It's true, Christine. I'm not your biological father. Maybe your mother is right. Maybe it's better if you go with her. She can give you and your child a better future. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine on my own." His words felt like a knife to my heart. I couldn't imagine leaving him. I couldn't bear the thought of being apart from him. I grew up knowing only one father, him. He raised me, cared for me, and stood by me through everything. And now, after learning that we weren't related by blood, it only made me appreciate our bond even more. He was a responsible man. He made me and my child happy. He provided for us, protected us, and gave me everything I needed. After much thought, I made my decision I wasn't leaving. My father, from the very beginning, you've been my father. You raised me and my child with love and care. You never abandoned us. You showed me what true love is. I'm sorry, Mom, but please leave. Go live your life in another country. We don't need you. You were never really a mother to me. If you could live without me for so long, then you can continue to do so. Forget that I was ever your daughter." My mother had nothing left to say. Tears streamed down her face as she turned and walked away. As soon as she was gone, I rushed into Father's arms, holding him tightly, grateful for the love he had always given me. From that moment on, I knew my heart belonged to him completely. The days that followed became even more meaningful. There was no longer any fear or doubt lingering in my mind. I found comfort in our life together, in the way he continued to take care of me, in how he helped cultivate the land, ensuring it would always thrive. Years passed. My father grew older. Yet, despite everything, we never had a child together. Perhaps it wasn't meant to be, but I had accepted it. I was happy just being with him. But fate had other plans. One day, my father fell ill. His heart grew weak, and eventually, he left this world. The pain was unbearable. Losing him felt like losing a part of my soul. But I had to stay strong for myself, for my child. Life had to go on. 3 months after his passing, I discovered something that shattered and healed me all at once. I was carrying his child. Tears filled my eyes as I thought of him. He would never get to meet our baby. But I promised myself I would raise our child with all the love I had left in me. Time passed, and life carried on. I eventually remarried and had 2 more children. We built a peaceful, happy life together. But no matter what, I will always cherish the love we shared. And I will never forget the man who taught me what it means to truly love. Thank you for listening to my story. I am Christine, and this is a chapter of my life.